Joining us is Tom Harwood from political website Guido Fawkes and journalist Ash Sarkar, who was here the last time when it went viral because you and Piers had an enormous clash.
It's one of those catchphrases which is going to haunt me until my grave.
Which is?
I'm literally a communist.
You idiot. Didn't you say? Did you call him
I did
an
also
idiot?
call him an idiot.
You called him an idiot?
Which
Which one knew as many fans as detractors, I guess.
I've got to defend my good friend. He sent me a text this morning that said, watch her. That's what it said. No, well done.
No.
Listen, you've got to say as you see, haven't you?
yeah, it was...
You've got to give it, you've got to take it. That's the way it
You're
is.
having a bit of a strange experience coming back into the studio.
I was saying it feels a little bit like having PTSD or something. Like, I'm just sort of
Piers
waiting to be
traumatic stress
accused.
disorder.
Yeah,
good.
stress disorder.
Well, let's talk about who's going to be having nightmares this week. Is probably both leaders of both parties. They've had an absolute drubbing in the polls in the local elections. Over 1,200 seats lost for the Tories, 70 odd or whatever for Labour. So, have they both had a reality check? Will they come up with something, or is it basically just back to nothing has changed and they can't agree this week?
I think when it comes to the talks, the interesting thing is that Theresa May needs them to succeed in order to save her premiership. She's not going to be able to get a deal through Parliament without Labour votes. However, to please the grassroots of her party, she would need the talks to fail, because to be seen to back anything like a customs union would look like an unconscionable compromise to the Tory party membership and a lot of her backbenchers too. Similarly, for Jeremy Corbyn, if he is seen to offer Theresa May a lifeline on her flagship bit of legislation, there are going to be lots of people who are members of the Labour Party who are instinctively left-wing and pro-Corbyn who would find that very hard to stomach as well.
Because the Conservatives have got more to gain out of getting a deal than he has.
I think
it's a bit like being the kingmaker. It's what happens
yeah.
to the Lib Dems. You go in and you think you're going to be an equal partner and you're not, because the plaudits go to the bigger party.
Absolutely not. And John McDonnell, I think, on Andrew Marr yesterday, did not sound particularly optimistic in terms of...
he said it was a bit well.
Because you're all politically switched on, including the Gatesford, the legend. But can I ask you all a question? You talk about...
Why is he always the legend?
Because he is.
To be fair, he is.
I'm sorry,
No,
I've
to be
watched him
fair,
do his job for years.
No.
No, listen, you know.
No, I'm a legend. He is a legend.
Now, don't start, that's insecurity.
Go on
Listen,
anyway.
We'll do the Jeremy Kashmir. I'm insecure. No, it's fine. You know, you said about Theresa May and saving her premiership from an outsider's point of view, and I'm talking about the people on the street.
Yeah.
It seems so broken. It seems that any semblance of understanding is lost in this debate about, you know, will she survive? Is he merely after the keys to number 10? Are they both not soiled so irreparably by this that neither of them have much, to be honest, credit left in the bank? That's how I feel.
Well, at least with Jeremy Corbyn, he's got his party behind him to a greater or lesser extent.
Has he?
Theresa May is a dead woman walking. No Tory... I mean, we saw a poll just yesterday on the Conservative Home website that said 1 in 5...
82%?
Only 1 in 5 Tories actually want her to continue to be Prime Minister.
But she's going to hang on because they called the vote of confidence at the wrong time. She'll hang on to December. Is there anything they can do to quicken that process up and get rid of somebody who I think, as Tom says, is the problem? Is she? I don't know.
Well, there is. The 1922 executive... the executive of...
committee,
Exactly.
yeah.
They can change the rules if they see fit, and they came very close to doing so just a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know what they're scared of. They're probably scared of an election and losing their seats, right?
Yeah. And also, who's going to take over? Because nobody can unify Brexit.
How can you? That's what I'm saying.
So,
well, isn't it extraordinary that we're 3 years after the vote and we still don't have a Prime Minister who voted for it, who believes in it? We've been being driven through this process by someone who was implacably opposed to it.
But
before
can
it
anybody?
started.
Can Jeremy Corbyn unite the country behind Brexit? Can Nigel Farage? Can Theresa May? Can a new Tory party leader? Or, sadly, because, and I have said it a lot, I don't think that even the people that were selling it to us knew what they were talking about, least of all the people that were voting for it. It's a mess, isn't it?
I think the problem with Brexit is that it's always been played as a zero-sum game where there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. The fact is that it was a narrow win for Leave. It was 52-48. You
Still democracy, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and I think that you do have to implement the result.
Good.
But rather than seeing that narrow win as a mandate for compromise, and also don't forget 2017, Theresa May's vision of Brexit is put to the people in the form of a general election. She loses her majority. Rather than seeing it as two mandates for compromise in which you've got to bring together a deeply divided country is being played as, well, one of two extremes has to win out in the end, which is either we stay or we crash out on WTO terms. And I think that that's deeply undemocratic.
We'd have compromised. Do you think if we'd voted Remain, we wouldn't continue down this conveyor belt to ever closer union?
I put it to you. If Remain had won 52-48, would that have been taken as a mandate for hard Remain? So that means Schengen, joining the euro, all of us speaking French?
What happened,
no.
What happened last time? We joined a common market, and through a series of, I think, 5 treaties, we entered into deeper and closer integration. We now have 5 presidents. We have a Spitzenkandidaten system with presidential debates for the president of Europe.
You're not speaking to Anna Soubry here.
Right.
I can see many good arguments for leaving the EU. What I'm talking about specifically is how do you bring a deeply divided country together?
That's exactly what I'm just saying.
Ask,
is it possible?
Is a second referendum is continually now the nemesis for Jeremy Corbyn. Everybody else, right up to the deputy leader of the party, wants one. He's the only one in the room who doesn't want one and won't back it. Can any deal possibly get the backing, even if there is a deal that comes out of number 10, whether it's a temporary customs union, whatever the compromises both sides make, if a second referendum isn't part of that, will Labour just abandon Jeremy Corbyn's deal anyway?
It will be really difficult to get it through Parliament because, as we saw
without a second referendum.
Right. And the reason why is because, as we saw with the last round of indicative votes, you saw a customs union plan fall by, I think it was just 3 votes. One of the reasons for that was that the Lib Dems and the Change UK MPs
much as I'm really excited about Brexit, and it's Tony Blair's birthday today. Just leave that hanging out there. Gavin Williamson and Theresa May. I mean, I do actually feel like we should definitely get him on the Jeremy Kyle show. My boss thinks I'm a liar.
Yeah,
there's something, again, outsider's point of view, like your opinion on this. We were talking about this morning. Grossly over-promoted in terms of what one sees, and there were rumblings for a long time. But the fear, I guess, for the Tory High Command is that if he was the chief whip and if he was apparently, you know, so close to it that she felt the need to give a school prefect one of the highest jobs in England, he must have a bit of dirt on Theresa May. Is he actually the catalyst by which this whole thing's going to implode and she's finally going to go? I don't know. What do we reckon?
I think if he had some amazing bit of dirt on her, it would have come out by now. What we've seen over the last few days is the most incredible slagging match between people in number 10 and the former Defence Secretary. It's like they're 12 years old.
Well,
We've
he does
seen
look
tit
about
for tat,
12 sometimes, doesn't he?
But
number 10 is now saying that he was overheard saying that she was unfit for office because of her diabetes.
That he wanted to invade Africa.
That he wanted to invade Africa, that he wanted to invade the South China Sea.
Why didn't she get rid of him in January?
Well, because she appointed him badly, I guess.
Yeah, right.
And she's got very few friends left in the party. That's the problem, is that she's got a cabinet stuffed with incompetence, not just talking about...
We need to make the point,
Gavin
he denies saying about the diabetes. He absolutely categorically
denies leaking about Huawei. He denies it all. And the police say there's no criminal basis for
that's an interesting one. Apparently they're not going to prosecute. Surely if somebody even within the NSC did that, that's a breach of our country's security or whatever it is.
Saying it's not. Now, if it was, I mean, if we were going to bring Williamson versus May on the Kyle show,
he'd look at
what would you? How would you solve the?
I'd make him cry.
You'd make him cry.
Yeah, I'd make him cry.
You'd get the lie detector out, surely. I mean, that's the first
Can you imagine the lie detector on Theresa May and Gavin Williamson? I actually have to say, on a serious note, Jeremy Kyle, to me. And I think we all think about our country and Brexit and we think about the future. It rather sums up the place that politics it is at the moment. Oh,
that's
boss swears I'm a liar. Today I'll prove her wrong.
Yes.
Hold on a minute, I can do this.
That's the show we want. That's the show we want.
I'm going to go and sit down here. Right,
you be the audience.
It's fantastic. Where is Gavin Williamson? Can we not get him on?
No, he won't. Remember, he came on here and then Richard Madeley booted him off.
Richard Madeley booted Gavin Williamson off?
He did, famously.
There were some elephants involved as well. It was very, very Alan Partridge.
There was some I can't get up.
I need to watch more morning TV.
What?
I need to watch more morning TV.
Stop arguing with Piers Morgan and watch some morning TV.
Right, go on, do your thing.
I was just surprised last night to find out that Gavin Williamson was the head of the organised crime gang in line of duty. Waving his sword around.
We found a T-shirt online with "I'm a communist, you idiot" for sale. There you are. I'm literally a communist, you idiot. You can buy that for 99p online. Would you like one?
Oh, see, Novara Media print one, and it costs a little bit more, but it does help our studio. It helps keep our studio lights.
Well, I think
and
ITV's budget is so big that we can definitely buy. I actually can't move from here.
Yeah,
so
what
if
are you
want
doing
to-
on the floor? Vicky, do we need help for Jeremy to get up?
That's quite worrying. My fiance's called Vicky. I thought, what the hell's she doing? Right, anyway, there we go. Let's go to the weather. Thank you very much indeed.
She's in Nottinghamshire with some poorly animals this morning, aren't you, Laura?